Hi, Rich James here, Director of our Spiritual Life and Strategic Partnerships Department here at Shepherd Village. We just finished part one of our conversation with Jim Breadner, where we cover the first chapter of his life, which included his love teaching workshop. If you haven't seen that video yet, perhaps you pause this one, go back and watch that, because we're picking up the conversation as he steps into a new chapter of his teaching career. Jim, you found yourself in the middle of technological advancement. You were teaching workshop. We had a laugh about a principal who kind of maybe wanted to hold you back, from embracing the new technology. We talked about the pens. But then you had a moment in time where you were invited to shift into launching out into establishing a computer program at Stephen Leacock Collegiate here locally in Scarborough. So you shifted from workshop teaching to computer lab teaching. How did that all come about?
Well, I was teaching when I was very young, and I had to get my salary increased, I had to get more credits at the university. So I went to the university, and I got a lot of math and science and so on kinds of classes, and math, but by chance I got to take a computer course, and that was really fun. It was like experimenting here in the wood shop, and I could try this and try that, and it was all very new. I was right at the front of the line on everything that was new. And to show that in the how new it was, I bought myself 4 different computers, one made by Apple, one made by Atari, and one made by IBM. And I can't remember the
Radio
name.
Shack, I think you
Radio
mentioned. Yeah.
Shack, that's it. And that's how the technology was all there and ready to go, but very few people really could get their mind around what's going on here.
Right.
Why do I have to punch holes in a card to talk to the computer? I'd like to talk just normally, most teachers would say. But now I have to in order to communicate and do the things I want to do with the computer, I have to use a punch card.
So, for many, that, again, as you said, it was the first time learning this. How were you so comfortable? Because it would have been the first time for you. How were you so comfortable? What is it about your life that allowed you to embrace, like an early adopter for this new computer technology?
Well, it's trial and error, which I like to do with most things when I'm building.
Yeah.
It's trial and error. I've got a piece of wood, and I'm going to make a good job of it, and I hope I don't ruin it. And using a computer is essentially the same thing. But you have to have somebody who's going to guide you the first while and of getting to learn how to use the computer. And that can be very pleasurable, as it was in my case, or it can be very frustrating, because I eventually was in a position where I was supposed to help teachers using the computer in their classroom. And every day I got phone calls from the teachers. I put my report cards, I typed them all into the computer, and I came back this morning and they're gone, they're lost.
Yeah.
They weren't really lost.
Right.
They were just that the teacher didn't know how to get to them.
Yeah. So not only were you trying to teach students about computers, you were teaching teachers.
Yes.
And they were going through the same thing, sort of the evolution of coming to grips with this new reality. And you must have had a couple of quite comical moments during those years
Yes.
of helping everybody. So as you think about this would have been, as you said, sort of the leading edge, the cutting edge of introducing computer science into the public school system here in Toronto. 50 years or so now on, did you ever take a moment to think how far computing has gone since those early days the punching of the cards to now the power that we have in the palm of our hands.
Yes. I think about that often, and I sometimes say, why bother with that? Why not just do the job with the
Yeah.
basic tools that you've got? Just like the woodworking tools. The chisel and the hammer are going to be the same. And but they kept changing, and that made it difficult. And the commands, the idea of a stored program, and putting it into the computer, and then making it do a useful job like printing student reports.
What's your relationship like with technology today? How do you feel about the modern computers?
Don't ask me that right now.
I'm not trying to embarrass you here.
Fighting my
Yes.
computer.
You're fighting it quite literally,
Yes.
right? Yes. Trying to get it to do something that, yes.
Yeah.
We've all had those moments and
I've got to
frustrations.
get more friends because I lose my friends
Yep.
because I say, hey, can you come over and fix my computer?
Yeah. So if there's people watching this and you want to be a computer friend, we'll take your help and guidance here. It's a big part and a big reason
Yeah.
why here at Shepherd Village we offer tech cafes.
Right.
And from our communication department, we are trying to help all of us learn and grow and morph with the changing technology. And we think about this whole move to artificial intelligence. I think way back in Stephen Leacock Collegiate, that would not have been perhaps a concept, but today it is quite remarkable and
Yes.
what it can help us with. Yeah. So let me ask you about what we'll say is the next chapter. You of course started teaching at 18, grade 5. You were teaching students. You got an industrial arts education, teaching for a long time, transitioned to computer lab at the leading edge, and then eventually you retired, and you and your wife Elsa did some travel. And a big part of the rewarding aspect of that next chapter of your life was traveling to meet former students.
Yes.
So you've encountered students ever since you left the physical classroom. You've met students out there. Chat with us about a few of the students and the moments you are thinking about, and perhaps one student in particular named Bill.
Bill was a great guy. He was a good, friendly person, and not too good a programmer on the computer.
Yeah.
But he did. He enjoyed it. And as a matter of fact, this is now more than 50 years since I got to know Bill, and I was talking to him 2 days ago on the telephone because he was wondering how I was doing and if I was still well and so on. And Bill started out in my math class, and then he was in my computer class, and then he went to Bible college, and he went to Germany. I followed him to Germany, Elsa and I did, because they were building a church, and so I used my technology experience. And Elsa went to teach in the kindergarten class in this same area in Germany. So it was a good experience. It was only for 2 weeks. And then Bill moved to Africa, and I didn't have contact with him there. But just 2 days ago, he phoned me and we chatted about his grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. And we have had good times together, and it's interesting how this information applies and things we've learned and we continue to use, and we shared about how do you feel, what have you done, and it's a real blessing.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot here because you might not otherwise offer this following story. But you told me that last Monday during the men's game time that we have every Monday morning where guys just gather in our community hall and we're playing crokinole.
Yeah.
And I got up and left, and you were playing still with one other person. take the story from there. What happened in your conversation? Because to me, it's mind-blowing.
Well, this is a helper person that in Shepherd Village.
Yeah.
And several people have come to do that. And this man came, and we needed an extra person for the board to play. So he took that position. And then I said, "Oh, do you live nearby?" He says, "Oh, yes, just down off Shepherd." And I said, "Oh, that's where I live too. But I'm another block over." And he said, "Oh, that's interesting." And so we got talking about it, and he said, "Well, do you know so and so?" And I said, "Yes, I know him. I know him, and I see him once in a while." He said, "Well, do you ever know of the teachers that were at Leacock? Mary Cunningham. Mary Cunningham," he said, "is a wonderful typing teacher." And I said, "Yes, she was. I don't know if she's still living or not," but we were going through who was living and who wasn't. Right. And so I said, "No." He said, "Do you know the teacher Breadner?" And this was the first time he had been playing crokinole across the table.
Yes.
And I said, "Well, I think so." And he said, "Well, he was a teacher at Leacock." I said, "Yes, I'm teasing you. I'm Breadner."
And he had such fond memories of you.
Yes.
And there you are sitting across from each other playing crokinole, and he's thinking back about a person who influenced him in a classroom, and it was you.
Yes.
And that is an incredible thing. I mean, ultimately, teachers never retire. Right? Their classroom just changes. Yeah. There's always still a moment where you're teaching. Would that be one of the most rewarding parts of this career in teaching? You know, workshop, computers, and ultimately, you think way back you began teaching young people about Jesus.
Yes. Amen.
What's the most rewarding part of this profession of teaching that you've given your life to?
I don't fuss about perfect or not quite perfect and so on. I make the best from every time I have an opportunity to be with people, to talk to people, to use new machines which nobody else can use, and it's all a blessing from the Lord.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one final question on the theme of teaching. And I asked you this before we started shooting, and we're coming to the end of this part 2 of our conversation here in this workshop. And I said to you, if you could go back and teach one more class, what would that be? So as you think about it, and all your history and all of the things that you've taught, would it be something like that, or would it be something different?
I like them all. I like to try to make a joke and have fun out of having a task. Now that board up there says, "I am used by seniors." Yep. The reason is the seniors come in here and they pick up those pliers and take them to their house, and they use them. But because they're seniors, their memory's not so good, like mine isn't. And so they put it down in a drawer. And guess what? They're not on the shelf anymore. We can't use them because their memory didn't.
Yeah.
And I like to think about that because it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's the way it is, and you have to make the best of it.
Yeah. Amazing, Jim. And, you know, that is such a great way for us to end. We talk at Shepherd Village about being a place that offers compassionate care.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that everybody feels that. And so when people come down in this workshop and they are able to work on projects and work with each other, there's care being shown, there's camaraderie being shown, there's friendships being made and forged. And I know that you have had a big influence as a person here at Shepherd Village in the way that you teach and the way that you live your life for Jesus. And so thank you so much for sharing your story with me and ultimately sharing your story with those who are going to watch this video. I know they're going to be impacted by you. And I think there's going to be a lot of teachers out there who are going to say, I can relate to Jim. So if you're a teacher and you've appreciated these stories and you've enjoyed Jim kind of reminiscing, we would love to hear from you. And maybe you could offer a comment in the comment section on this YouTube video and let us know what you taught and where you taught and share some stories. And we're going to swap stories of teaching. I am the son of a teacher and I love teachers, and I love you, Jim, and I thank you for your time today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.
Thank you.